So I've just built this digital avatar. On the left here, you've got what it looks like in its full profile. And then on the right, what it looks like at the bottom of my talking head tutorial style videos, which look like this.
I'm going to show you how you can turn this one image into 12 different camera shots for free using Google Gemini. So first we want to take our image and load it into Gemini and ask it to give us 12 different detailed prompts varying the angle and shot type.
And so in this video, I'm going to be talking through how I created the image for this avatar, how I then decided what voice to use, and then how I combined them together to turn them into a video, and then some just final steps on my editing timeline to get the final result. Right, so just starting on the image, I actually started with a girl, and I was kind of wanted to do like an arcane character. I was thinking something futuristic, but I just want to show you like my starting point and how I got to the boy that doesn't obviously look like that, because this happens quite a lot. So I said, I want you to create a character that looks like this but realistic. Can you create some different versions? Called out that it's Jinx from Arcane, but I got a number of different prompts here for some sort of different women, and I took this into, I was just using Artless to generate these, and was using Nana Banana 2, kind of got some different versions, and this was the one that I actually liked the most. So I went back into Claude. So I was like, I like this version, maybe generate me some more versions of this, but outfits and hairstyles, I'll use this as a reference image. I like this version. Well, I actually originally asked for some different hairstyles, got some more prompts, and then I put these back in, got this one, this one. I quite like this one. Didn't like these, quite like that one, quite like that one. And then what I ended up doing was basically just adding in the girl here, and just saying, can you just make a boy version of this? Because originally I was just doing like brand new prompts with no image reference of this girl, and then I got this basically male version of his character with short dyed blonde hair. I wanted like a buzz cut. Got to this, great, this is getting there, this is what I wanted. And then I just wanted remove the background, remove the earrings, and I was like, right, this is fantastic. And then at some point down the line, I ended up changing the eyes as well, because they were a bit purple. I wanted them sort of, I was testing either gray or blue. I was like, yeah, okay, perfect. This is the image that I want. Don't really know how I got to this sort of techie, sort of rebel, you know, the dyed blonde hair. I don't know, just I like this character, right? Drawn to it. And for talking head desk setup, you could do some other side profiles and full character profiles, but for me, this is really all I need to create the digital avatar. Just a really clear, high quality shot, plain black t-shirt, plain background, and I think I generated this in either 2K or 4K to make it really high quality. And so the next step is then kind of generating a background. You can do this in many different ways depending on what you want. I kind of like these sort of directly sort of staring at the camera, talking head, microphone down there to make it seem a bit more realistic. You can play around with this in many ways. The best way I find to do this, we go into Claude or we can go into ChatGPT, or whatever you want. We'll just drag in that original image reference and just say, please can you give me some image prompts of this character in a talking desk style environment. So he sat at a desk, hands on the desk, Shure SM7 DB, microphone coming down from a boom arm, should be centered, looking directly at the camera, middle of the frame. Backgrounds could be different types of cinematic style ones. Right, so then we're going to put that prompt in, and this is hopefully going to just give me some image prompts, and I'll generate these for you in real time as well, just so that you can see the results that I get. Right, so here we've got some of the prompts. So I'm going to take one, and we just take original image, which is in here, put it in the character reference, and then we'll just generate this at 2K. We can use Nana Banana 2 or Nana Banana Pro. I tend to use Nana Banana Pro still quite a lot, and we'll just generate these. We can just go back and forth the different prompts. Again, I'm not really just too fussed on what exactly they are. I just want to like see them, get an idea of whether it's. You can also take inspiration from other people's background. I basically did that here. I found this image of someone. I like this backdrop. The problem you'll find is when you use Nana Banana Pro or Nana Banana 2 and you're kind of swapping people in, it reduces the clarity of the face. This happens all the time where like the details are not smoothed out here. Let me just download this and I'll show you. Right, so on the left I've got this image, right, and on the right is the original. We can just see here that it's missing now a load of the details of like the freckles and the imperfections on the face. face, and it's just ever so slightly smoothed it out. However, when I am just using an image reference that's essentially that main one, if I just download this one, which was the original one that I went for the avatar, as we can see here, there is a difference here. Like you can see some of the main sort of freckle mole there and here as well. Like it's much better at maintaining the continuity of the face here, I find, and this seemed to happen a lot. Nano Banana 2, Nano Banana Pro was doing it, so kind of was experimenting with this background. And what I ended up doing in order to try and get around this is that, like, what I'll do is I'll put like this backdrop or one of these into Claude and just say, can you describe this backdrop, and then take that prompt and then put it into Nano Banana again. And I didn't get it exactly what it was, but that's kind of, this was the original backdrop. I asked it to basically describe that prompt. This is what I got, but I'm like, okay, kind of similar. Like I don't need, there isn't, you know, an exact backdrop that I'm looking for. I'm just looking for like ideas. So I mean, the backdrop is something that you can play around with, like, you know, forever. Most important thing is just that is the main character image that is now like the base for everything. If we just look at some of the examples here, okay, don't quite like that with that like plain orange background. This one, not great. You know, see, some of these are pretty average. Again, I find that like you just got to just go through it a lot. I was creating a different character for something else. And you can just see here, like I'm just generating so many. Let me just show you some of these backgrounds that I also was generating before. Just all sorts of different backgrounds that basically was coming from just varying different prompts. I actually think this is where I got, this one's quite a nice backdrop there. Just, yeah, really just quantity of the, okay, this is the one that I took for that inspiration for the other one. I just moved the desk forward and stuff. So yeah, and I think once you get the backdrop and you're happy with it, the ideal thing to do as well would be to just remove the person from the background as well. So you've got the plain backdrop there as well, just in case you wanted to like change the clothing of the character or change the outfits. What I would probably do is actually change this. I would use that as a base reference image and change the outfit there, and then put that back into the background or a similar background, just to help maintain the details in there. But again, there are many different ways to do it. And so once you've got your image and you're happy with it, this was obviously the one that I took forward. I originally generated this, and then I just wanted the hands on the table. Otherwise, in when we're doing the video, the hands won't come on the table. So you just want to make sure they're in front there. I also kind of like this generation that I got to as well, kind of a couple of different ones there, but this one was the one that I was just drawn to the most. And so now moving on to creating the voices. This, we're going to be using 11 Labs, one of my favorite platforms, and a couple of different ways you can do this. First, we go to voices, and we just we can explore the voices that exist, right? And I wanted English, British accent. We can go on filters, we can go on male, young, middle-aged, and we can start just
the Indonesian
going through these.
Did you ever notice how the right
And we can pick the right one. However, I didn't really want to do this because I'm like, well, if some of these, I mean, if the owner of the voice removes their voice, you can use that one for 2 years, to be fair. But I actually just couldn't find the one that I liked. I wanted just a young, sort of articulate British Londonish accent. I wasn't sure what exactly I want. So what you can do is you go on create a voice, and you can go on voice design, and then you want to put in a prompt here. What I did was I went on best practices, and I took this whole document, I went into Claude, and I basically copied and pasted all of that along with the image of my character, so it's got that context, so it can see what I'm seeing. I said, just giving you the details for building 11 Labs voice prompt, I need a young 25-year-old male that's kind of like a tech hacker, going to give you a picture of him as well. And I got this native English, neutral American with slight Pacific Northwest flatness. So I actually forgot to say that I wanted a British accent in there, so I put needs to be British. And then I got this here, and then go back into 11 Labs, copy and paste this in, and just click generate voice. And I did this quite a few times, but I was getting some consistent results in like the sort of what I wanted. And anyone that I liked, I would label it just as sort of voiceover 1.
The firewall's a bit thicker than anticipated, but nothing.
It's along the lines of what I wanted. So basically, I just kept tweaking some of the words, like I'll remove thick or more London, keep generating them until I get the one that I'd liked. And then I would basically go into HeyGen, which we'll be using to create the avatar, and I would be just testing the voice. Like, does it sound and feel right on that person? No, okay, yeah, this took a little bit of time. And then what we're gonna do now is I prefer when we're generating audio using the voice is to use the voice changer, because the problem with text to speech is it just sounds like still a bit robotic and still a bit sort of like not realistic. So if I just...
My name is Ben Kaluza, and this is a test of my clone voice.
It just... There's no like cadence or pacing or anything. And so what you can do is I'm just going to show you. So this was the voiceover that I originally took from this tutorial video that I made. So I'm going to show you how you can turn this one image into 12 different camera shots for free using Google Gemini. So that's obviously my voice. We go into voice changer, drag this voiceover in. I'm going to show you how you can turn this. There it is. Choose the voice, Loki V4. Loki is the name of my character. I think I'm going for that. I'm not sure yet. I think it's a badass name. Let me know if you've got any other ideas. Okay.
I'm going to show you how you can turn this one image into 12 different camera shots for free using Google Gemini. So first we want to take our image and load it into...
It's not perfect, still sounds a little bit like, but so much better than text-to-speech. So I would always recommend doing voice changer or speech-to-speech where you record the audio and go with your pacing and yours, and it will just feel a little bit more human, and it will make your avatar look and feel more real. Because what's that saying people you see with your ears? Or I can't remember what the saying is, but when you watch an avatar, if the voice is more realistic, it makes the avatar look more realistic, if that makes sense. So I would highly recommend using the voice changer. Get a microphone, do it on your phone, and then just change it to the voice that you've made. Obviously that might not be an option for everybody, but this is how you get the best results. And so then once we've got voiceover, we're going to go into HeyGen, and it's pretty simple. We're just going to go over to photo to video, and then we just drag and drop in a video. That's a slightly different one that I did, but it doesn't really matter. And then we want to upload audio. So this is just that voiceover that I've downloaded from 11 Labs. Once that's done, you click add audio, and then you just hit generate. And I'd already done some generations of this here. So this was one that I did an hour ago.
I'm going to show you how you can turn this one image into 12 different camera shots for free using Google Gemini. So first we want to take our image and load it into...
So not too bad. And then I'm also going to show you the other one that I generated that was the final one.
I'm going to show you how you can turn this one image into 12 different camera shots for free using Google Gemini. So first we want to take our image and load it into Gemini and ask it to give us 12 different detailed...
Right, so now we've got the video on the timeline.
I'm going to show you how you can turn this one image into 12 different camera shots for free using Google Gemini.
I'm just going to show you some final last tips to just tweaking the audio. These aren't massive, but what I find, the 11 Labs voices, when you do voice to voice, it just removes all of the soundscape and the room tone. Like it has this just sound to it that is just feels too perfect. And so what you want to do is download this VST plugin called Place It. This will work in Premiere Pro, DaVinci, it's just a VST, completely free. And then what you do is go into effects and then go and place it, and we place this over here. This obviously sounds shit, it's obviously just applied the default. What I like to have it on is it can like mimic environments. So I'm gonna go on home and then just go on living room, and
so first we want to take our...
That still sounds shit, but what we're going to do is... I like to have this on basically about 5%.
Image and load it into...
And then put this on 5%. You might think 5% is that all. Like...
How you can turn this one image into 12...
It just takes the top off. The top is just this like too perfect bass. Let me just like play you it with and without. It's very subtle, but as someone that's a bit picky with audio, it's like...
Show you how you can turn this one image into 12 different camera shots for free using Google Gemini. So first we want to take our image and load it into Gemini and ask it to give us 12 different
It just gives a tiny bit of depth and soundscape to the room, the echo. You could obviously also like increase it, like...
So first we want to take our image...
Too much echo for me.
Into Gemini and
obviously
ask it to give us 12 different detailed prompts varying the angle and shot type. We then want
I
to
just
take
find
our
5%
starting image and combine it with our first prompt to get our first image. If you're then happy with it, we want to then add it as a...
It's just the perfect balance. 5%. Obviously, you play around with it. You can also try outside as well, different spaces, but I think 5% is perfect.
So first we want to take...
And then the final step, we just want to add a parametric equalizer. This is basically to just get more finer tuning adjustments. I'm just going to like boost the highs a little bit. You can just play around with this until it just sounds how you want.
Free using Google Gemini. So first we want to take our image and load it into Gemini and ask it to give us 12 different detailed prompts varying the angle
give a
and
bit more
shot type.
bass.
We then want to take our starting image and combine it with our first prompt to get our first image. If you're then happy with it,
I'm no expert on EQing. I just do it until it sounds like how I like.
Our image and load it into Gemini and ask.
But once you've done that, I'd say I'm pretty happy with that. And so this is what it kind of looks like in the final edit.
I'm going to show you how you can turn this one image into 12 different camera shots for free using Google Gemini. So first we want to take our image and load it.
Obviously, his hands in the original clip are
Gemini. So first we want to
not
take our
moving,
image.
but the thing is when we're doing talking head videos, we're always going to be doing like A-roll not for very long, and also like in my video you can't even see his hands. So if we're aiming for like realism here, you know,
I'm going to show you how
that to me looks fairly normal.
I'm going to show you how you can turn this one image into 12 different.
Like I'm not really looking at his hands. Eye line is, you know, pretty much there where we want. We can adjust that as well if we need to, if you want to just zoom in.
How you can turn this one image into 12 different
and then
camera shots for free.
I think
Google
just
Gemini.
looking at him throughout here.
And load it into Gemini and ask it to give us 12 different detailed prompts varying the angle and shot type.
Obviously, when you add a bit of music as well, it takes away a little bit of the roboticness of the voice and the sound. But like, I'm very happy with like.
Prompt to get our first image. If you're then happy with it, we want to then add.
I think a lot of people wouldn't know this is AI. You will know this is AI. No, it looks like AI, but if you don't tell people, you just saw this on your feed.
I'm going to show you how you can turn this one.
The only thing is that the background is
like,
is that a realistic? Would someone have this background? It might be better to just have a more raw, relaxed, like normal room sort of background with some effort to have some good lights, but realistically, who's got a background like that?
You can turn this one in.
This is kind of what I was trying to figure out how to do with this backdrop. You might say that's still, is that realistic? I don't know, but yeah, you can play around with the backdrops forever. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Went through all the sort of steps to get my avatar. If you have any questions, drop them in comments, but if not, I'll see you in the next video.